There was a moment of like, oh, we want more of this. Did you feel like reuniting on that show sparked an interest in both of you in looking at these characters again?
I don't think so. Wentworth and I were working together on Flash, and we were reminiscing about Prison Break. And we just discovered and realized that there was more to tell. As long as we were paying service to the legend of Prison Break. We weren't just going to go and revisit for the sake of revisiting. And it just so happened at the time Fox were also interested in doing a reboot. I think it had more to do with the Netflix generation, actually. The show has remained relevant and hasn't diminished. And I think that's indicative of a classic, or classic movies. They have a timeless quality to them.
Absolutely. I mean, when we're talking about that, if you were going to revisit Michael Scofield and revisit this world, what was important to you that you got to do with the character, or that you didn't do with the character besides self-resurrecting?
I just knew that my job was to bring my heart and soul each day, every scene, because the idea was to not just tell a story, but to tell it well, to create something that could stand alongside what came before, because otherwise, why bother?
Absolutely. Well, in terms of the writers, that is a phenomenal task that is sort of set before you, to live up to the show that at least everyone in this room loved, and far beyond it, judging from the millions of likes the trailer has on Facebook. I mean, when you sat down to craft these new stories, where do you even begin?
Well, for me, I was a huge fan of the original series. I wasn't involved in the original series, and Paul Shearing, the man that created the show, I think, like Dom and Wentworth, felt like if we were going to do it again, it had to be special, it had to be unique, it had to feel like it was worthy. And he came up with an idea that I think got us all really, really excited, and it was really a privilege and an honor to write a couple of those episodes.
Absolutely. Michael, for you, the show has such a long list of characters that the fans love, who you sort of had your choice to pick from and to look at. What was it like thinking about who you wanted to return in terms of these characters that people love?
Yeah, well, that was a giant challenge, is we had to figure out, once Paul had this amazing Bible that was about 70-something pages that took you through the story, and we really wanted to service all the characters, from the original series that we loved, and we wanted everybody in there, but you don't want to just shoehorn people in there either, and you want to tell the story and be true to it, and so, you've got to do the brothers, and you've got to do Sarah, and you know that, and then you're trying to figure out what else you can put in there.
Absolutely. One of those things you got to put in there was Shiva. Imar, what was it about this character? We see very little of her in the pilot, but spoiler alert, having seen other episodes, she's pretty kick-ass. What was it about this woman that you were excited to play?
I think a kick-ass woman is exciting. And I find it very important to give voice to the people of Yemen. They have to struggle every single day. They're in the midst of a very serious civil war, happened for a while, and I feel a huge responsibility to tell that story, and we're very lucky that Fox has been brave enough to shed some light on that area.
Absolutely. Donna, let me ask you, you talked about working together on Flash with Wentworth. Did it feel differently when you were re-inhabiting Lincoln to work opposite him?
It's a good question. Not really. I know Wentworth very, very well. He's one of my closest friends, and I love him dearly. So that transition wasn't difficult for me.
And what about finding the character again, Wentworth? Did you need to do anything different to re-engage with Michael Scofield than you did other characters you've played over the years?
Michael Scofield lives in me, and I think always will, courtesy of playing him for 4 seasons. But I'm a different man now. I'm 44. When we shot the original, I was 33, 34. So I knew that I had a whole lot of life experience to bring to the table, and I think that is one of the things that I'm really satisfied to see on screen is that Michael looks like he's seen some shit. And that's reflective of the fact that I have too. I found a new way to kind of put my stuff in that container, which was familiar to me, but repurposed now in a way that I found really satisfying and affirming as an actor.
Absolutely. Well, I want to give you guys the opportunity to ask some questions, so I believe there are some microphones if you have anything you want to ask. Before we do that, you know, what we've talked about is that there are a lot of people who help make Prison Break, and one of those people couldn't be here today, but they sent a little message in their stead, so why don't we roll that?